Well, let's get back to this GM story. The union Unifor is calling for swift action after GM's announcement that it plans to cut its Oshawa assembly plant from 3 shifts to 2 shifts. It is citing in part Trump's tariffs. Let's get more from Unifor National President Lana Payne. Lana, thanks very much for giving us the time. A sad day, obviously, for workers in Oshawa. Not a good day for the Ontario economy. So this plant makes the Silverado truck. That's the main product it makes?
Yes, yes, Andrew. And thanks for having me. They build Silverados. So do 2 other plants in the United States. And what we're seeing here is basically a shift or a production of one of our shifts into an increased capacity in one of the plants in the U.S. So it's a direct shifting of jobs, and it's a direct result of these tariffs.
Of course, that's what Trump wants, isn't it?
Yeah, and the reality is, I've been saying a lot of things about this today, and I've said many things to General Motors, as I've said to all of the automakers since we started in this trade war, that not to make drastic long-term decisions that can hurt Canadian workers, because the reality is they still want to sell vehicles in Canada. We have a very big market here in Canada that they depend on, and Canadians are not in the mood to put up with this and these kinds of actions. And the reality is we have to find a way collectively to work through this trade war. And what we've seen today is what I feared from the beginning, and that's Canadian workers get squeezed. So now we've got to see how our politicians are going to react to this, because I know darn well our union is going to be fighting every single day to try and get this decision overturned and make sure we do everything possible to protect Canadian jobs.
Well, we've had the routine expressions of concern from the Prime Minister and the Ontario Premier. Do you expect to be anything resembling action, though, to force GM to revoke this move?
Well, a couple of things can happen here. In terms of our retaliatory tariffs on the U.S., we actually built in, because you might recall, Andrew, we talked about this before, our union recommended a carrot stick approach. If you're building in Canada, then you can get an exemption, and you won't be retaliated against from tariffs from Canada. But that also means you have to keep up your footprint. You have to keep up your investment in here. And now what we expect to see is for the Canadian government to review that exemption in terms of what it is that they've allowed these automakers. And then secondly, we have to push back. And my advice to the Prime Minister today, if he was interested, is pull these automakers together into a meeting and explain to them exactly what's at stake. There is, and we expect something in return for the fact that they get to sell in Canada. That means we expect them to build here and to maintain their investment and their footprint.
I mean, I don't want to pile on the gloom here, but there was a late 2024, you'll probably remember, Trillium Network for Advanced Manufacturing said at that stage, Canadian auto plants were expected to produce only 1.3 million vehicles this year, the lowest level in decades. And we've seen cuts since then. Are you almost fighting a losing battle to keep auto plants in Ontario at this stage?
Oh, no, I never fight losing battles. I fight to win, Andrew, and our members are going to be fighting with me to win here, too. Part of the reduction that we saw in 2024 is because we had 2 major assembly plants under retooling, and the Oshawa or the Windsor plant was also down for a period of time last year during a shorter retool period. So that meant we were building fewer vehicles in 2024. We've got to fight to make sure that we not only maintain the footprint we got, and that includes the plants that are currently under retool, but that we're expanding this footprint. It's incredibly important to the Ontario economy. It's incredibly important to the Canadian economy, and we need advanced manufacturing in Canada. I believe that our Prime Minister will have, as part of his discussions, hopefully next week when he meets with President Trump, some ideas in terms of how we work our way through this, because there are other things that the U.S. could be doing, because Canada isn't the problem.
So Ford, they have only one plant now. It's in Oakville, Ontario, and that's been shut down. They had planned to make a big electric SUV there. That plan was dropped, as far as I know. They want to build F-Series Super Duty trucks, is the latest I heard, but that doesn't happen until next year. So there is an idled plant.
Yeah, but it is full speed ahead with the retooling. Work is underway there every single day. And Ford also has an engine plant in Windsor, Ontario, which employs several thousand people as well. So they have a footprint. Stellantis has a footprint. GM has a footprint. We also have the non-union automakers, Toyota and Honda, and we expect them to maintain their footprint here too. And I think one of the things we have to do as we're working our way through this trade war is to make sure that our prime minister is also putting pressure on these corporations. They've got to feel it, the same pressure in Canada that they're feeling in the U.S., or we will be in a very serious situation. And that's why today it was important to hear our prime minister say, and I will repeat his line, that there can be consequences here as a result of these kinds of decisions that automakers are making, because we have to stop the bleeding.
Lana, thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Andrew.
Lana